Hey folks, I'm Ted Cantu, and I'm on location today with Michael Rivait, and he's got some great commercial properties, great investment properties, real estate properties for investors. So if you're looking to invest in Michigan, you've read all the great articles in New York Times, you probably heard some things about us in NPR, USA Today. You know, there's a lot of major media sources looking at Michigan as being a great place for investors, but one thing I've always noticed is that they always talk about Metro Detroit, and that's always the focus when it comes to major media. And since I don't live in Detroit, I have a studio there, but I don't live there. I know that living here in Oakland County, there's a lot of great investment properties that really kind of slip under the radar. So I turn to guys like Michael Rivait to kind of give me the real scoop on really what's going on, and you're right in the thick of things. You live in Waterford, and you're right near Pontiac, and you know firsthand that most of the great deals are right here in Oakland County.
Well, that's a great point, because Detroit has such a, with all due respect to Detroit, it has a bad name, I guess, in terms of everything that's going on. But yeah, here in the suburbs, primarily in Oakland County, there's a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great properties that are coming on board and looking to get sold, but yeah, there's a lot of opportunity.
That's so good to hear, because it's there's some great houses that that come on the market. They need a little bit of fixing up. You've also come to situations where you can actually improve the value of the investment properties too. I know that Michael actually adds on square footage to the rooms and really increases the value. So an investor coming into one of your programs, your properties, would really benefit from working with you, because you do all those things.
Yeah, what we do, it's a little bit different than your average investor or flip guy, if you will. The average guy that are buying properties, they'll go in and they'll buy the property, and they'll just they'll kind of rehab them, and they don't really put a lot of effort into them, and they just kind of want to do the best they can to just get it back in the market. But what we do is we really have an in-depth report, if you will, on areas that we're working in and what the people are looking for and what they're expecting out of these houses. One area that we're working in is Royal Oak, and that's it's sort of a yuppie area, if you will. It has a beautiful downtown area, and there's a lot of people that are FHA approved that are looking for really nicely finished off homes, but they're just not available. So what we do is we go in and we will purchase a home, completely rehab it. We tear the kitchens and bathrooms out, and a lot of times we'll add square footage onto them, and that's something that the average real estate flipper doesn't want to get involved with. Yeah.
Wow, that's really great. And see, how are you going to get the information if you don't come on the web and do some searching around?
Yeah.
You're not going to find that on an MLS site.
Yeah.
Those sites always have like the drop-down menus, and by the time you get to the fifth menu, I know I get kind of bored or frustrated, or both. But this is always good to find the real inside information.
Well, yeah, I guess the real benefit of doing that is by adding the square footage on these houses, and we can get a bigger end value. It's pretty basic when you look at what the houses will sell for. It's all based on square footage.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the amenities that are in it, but primarily it's square footage. So if we buy a house that's maybe 1,200 square feet, and we bump it up to 2,000 square feet, those costs are reasonable. But the end result, by getting that square footage up, gets you a much higher return on your investment.
Wow, that is so cool. Now, as an investor, that's going to be music to their ears, because you're really increasing the value for
Absolutely.
that. And realistically, that's a great thing, because I used to live in Chicago, and all you ever hear about was rehabs there. And Chicago has gone through a huge transformation, because they've actually taken big neighborhoods and literally have transformed them from war zones to Yuppieville.
Right.
Which is, when Starbucks moves in, it's kind of over. It's just going to be a windfall of new money and opportunities, and also for retail, and actually the whole economy kind of improves, and it was interesting. So rehabs, we've seen some buildings that they're not so attractive on the outside, but on the inside they're amazing. Really incredible showers and expanded bedrooms, and just the layout was improved. And those properties actually went up in price. So what you're doing is kind of the same thing. Only.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, the women actually buy the houses, and they like to see the nice kitchens with all the granites, the nice bathrooms, the master en suites with the nice showers and walk-in closets and these type of things. So it's things that if you want to sell your home, you really have to key in on those areas.
Absolutely. Well, that is so cool. Now, it's interesting. People are leaving the state of Michigan, but also it's going through some transformations. And you've seen in the news about the Detroit 2020 vision that there's going to be a whole brand new city by 2020, which is really amazing. Yeah. A lot of artists have come here. They're moving into Hamtramck because the property's cheap. But Royal Oak and Ferndale, too, is very, very stylish for young people and creatives and film types. And so that's something else to consider, too, that as an investor, kind of following where the market is really kind of shifting and following those trends that are out there. It's really exciting.
Yeah, Royal Oak is definitely an up-and-coming area. It's a very yuppie area, if you will. It has a great downtown atmosphere, and it's a safe place to live. It's a nice family type of area, and it's a good investment. It's a good area to.
I always kind of looked at Royal Oak as more like Ann Arbor's twin brother, only with a different kind of pulse. It's just got a different beat to it. But it's very clean, very friendly.
Yeah.
Great schools out there too, which I think is also an important thing for an investor to know. The school systems are really great, so it's really appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
Very, very cool. Now, the other thing I want to mention too about what you do is you really you have a program for your commercial properties where you can increase the value of the investor's potential. It was a 15% return every month. Is possible.
Yeah, what we do with our fix and flip program actually is we do have private investors that we do work with, and their return that we do get them is 15% on their money. So depending what the situation is, but basically it's 15% interest only every month. There's a door in or check on your doorstep.
Wow,
so
that's great.
Yeah, a lot of our investors have self-directed IRAs. And this is a great vehicle for them to move their money into in a safe place. It's all backed with mortgages and notes, and it's a good program for them.
Well, that is really, really cool. Now we're going to roll up the phone number for you. Your phone number is
it's 248-670-2011.
Very, very cool. Okay, and Mike, what's your website?
Actually, my website is www.rivaiteam.com, and that's RIVAITTEAM.com.
Very cool. Folks, I want you to keep watching these videos. We got some more things coming out for you. We got more properties here in Detroit that we're going to find. And it's a really exciting time to be part of all of this, because what you're doing here is you're really kind of connecting a bridge for opportunities, not only for investors, but you're also kind of changing the landscape of where we live, and that is really upbeat. So you're doing a pretty big, a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan is, it's in the papers nationally that we're having a hard time, but actually it's definitely a diamond in the rough. There's a lot of opportunities here, and there's some really good areas to invest in. And there are people that are not moving out of Michigan, and they're looking to buy homes, and with the with the fact that there's so many foreclosures and properties that are distressed, it's a huge opportunity to be able to pick these properties up and rehab them properly, in our opinion.
Yeah.
By adding the square footage on and different things like that, and making them a real nice package to sell to the end buyer.
Wow, very cool. More information, you want to call this number, and the best deals are not in Detroit. They're actually in Pontiac, Waterford, Oakland County, and this is the guy that brings it all together for you. So I would call him personally, just because you're going to get around a lot of red tape and frustration. Here's the source right here. He lives right here in Michigan. That's really important for the investor to know, because you know the scene inside and out. You're here.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, because primarily all the properties that we do find and rehab and fix up are not on the MLS. So that's kind of a, no offense to MLS, but usually by the time the properties hit the MLS, everybody knows about it, so you really don't get a deal. So the properties that we're getting involved with, we do get a real good deal on them, and of course with the rehabbing that we do. So there's a lot of room for profits, and that's why we can pay the 15% on the money.
I'm sold. Hope you guys are too. Give us a call, and Michael, thank you for being here today.
All right, Ted, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Folks, we'll see you online. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.